platform to many of us in the room. It's definitely something that we've kind of identified as like an emerging area, but perhaps an area that we've not had a lot of experience as a team in terms of working with Substack writers. Would love to know why you chose to launch your platform on Substack, especially at a time where you could argue audio and video content was perhaps more popular within the music space.
Okay, so for me, I've been a journalist. Thank you so much. And hi, everyone. I've been a journalist for 12 years now, and 10 of those years, or 11 of those years, were in the music industry. Over time, I've seen myself become a lot more than a journalist. I used to work at Universal. I still run consultancy for all the major record labels, Sony, Universal, Warner, all of them. And I do executive functions like A&R and a few other things, and brand work. Well, in 2020, when I chose Substack, I was disillusioned with freelancing for the majors. So I did a ton of work for across board, from New York Times, New Yorker, Fader, Complex, Highs Nobiety, all of them. And I got bored with it, to be honest. And then one day, while the world was closing down and I knew everybody was around, I just said, okay, let me get the platform. The reason why I chose Substack was one of the problems every other person, all of my friends and colleagues who were working with, who were creating their own platforms, they were struggling or spending too much to retain their readers. So I could write an investigative piece and throw it into the ether. And then people will congregate around that piece, elevate it and all. Then after that, I'll still have to struggle to get those people back, regardless of everything. So Substack felt like the natural thing to do, because not only did I bring my audience, I could retain them via the emails. Like this morning, I sent one out, and instantly I got like tens of thousands of readers instantly. So that was the key for me. And then I decided, and I honed in on music, because we didn't have music. We didn't have a platform that could give us music on a global standard in Nigeria. Afrobeat was taken off. All of our artists were achieving globalized lookings and new markets. And so, yeah, we needed a platform at home. Created it, ran it for a bit, and the results were instant. People loved it. It became a hit here. What also helped it was the fact that I have exclusivity. So I have access to all levels of the music industry, both locally and internationally. So all the most exclusive interviews were here. So you find all the most exclusive interviews here. You find a generation of creators at the highest levels. And so it stayed for a while until I got bored again in 2022. And why did I get bored? I noticed that global media was moving, and audio-visual, it was changing quickly. The ground beneath my feet was switching, and I needed to get a slice of that. Even locally in Nigeria here, we saw it take off so quickly that visual, short form clips, podcasts, visuals, all of that was happening. But 2022 was still new. So I went out, I bought equipment, put everything in the car, bought a car, bought equipment, put everything in the car. Then I drove from house to house. So I might call, let's say, Don Jazzy now. For those who are Nigerians, you know how big he is. I call Don Jazzy and say, hey, Don Jazzy, are you home? I'm coming. When I show up, I bring out equipment from my trunk. And he's like, what's happening here? And I'm like, you're recording a podcast episode.
By the way, Don Jazzy is like a musical legend in Nigeria, by the way. So just to paint the picture there. Sorry, go on, Jerry.
Yeah, so everyone, so I called everybody because I had access. I called everybody and I work with everyone. So I called everybody, Omale, Benson, everybody. And that's how we created it. And all of this, mind you, was bootstrapped. The only way we could make it make sense financially for us was doing brand work on two levels. So on the first level, you could partner with them for campaigns, you could do all of that. Then on the second level, we could serve as a research hub for brands. So we go really deep into the music industry. We know all the trends, we know everything, we have all the data, everything. So think of it, if a company wants to come into the market, a music company wants to come into the market, and they're like, we don't understand the lay of the land. This is Nigeria. We know nothing. So they come to us, whether it's Spotify or whether it's Def Jam. So they'll come to us and they'll say, hey, we want to be able to do this. How do we approach it? So we do a lot of consultancies. So the podcast became very successful, got a lot of support. We moved from just being audio, we moved it into video after a year, and the video also became a hit. And then we moved into live events. So now we have live events where live recordings, live events. And then last year, we signed a deal to go into partner with the network at OK Africa, this media platform. And they've been amazing partners now. We've just, we finished the season in August, and we're launching it at 6-episode run on the 17th, where everybody's in there from Davido to Olamide to Rundown. So yeah, that is the promise of Afrobeats Intelligence. You're getting whether it's the newsletter you're interacting with or the podcast, you're getting the highest form of coverage in the music industry. And so, yeah, 5 years of growth, 5 years of redefining what it means to cover and platform music in this market.
It's really cool. When thinking of Substack and the newsletter that you mentioned, how did you, what was your promotion strategy? How were you able to get so many readers and people to, number one, subscribe to your newsletter, perhaps at a time where Substack was still quite new, you could argue, around the pandemic time? And also, what do you do now to continue to drive that interest and momentum and drive people to Substack? So just to let everyone know in the room, when you have a Substack platform, you essentially have basically your written articles and blogs that people can access, but you can also send them directly to a mailing group of people who are subscribed to your newsletter. And that's sort of how you can help to actually drive people through to your platform to read your article in full. Often Substack writers have subscriptions, so you may pay to be subscribed to a Substack writers platform and be able to read subscription-specific articles. But for the most part, most people are sort of signed up to your newsletter. But would just love to know, Jerry, what did you specifically do to drive people to your Substack?
So thank you. It's the same thing I've always done. With my work, whether it's Substack, whether it's a podcast, whether it's anything else, I have a very strong editorial policy. I know what works, I know what is fluff, and I kick it out of the way to focus on the real things. So I discovered, especially in Nigeria here, because we have a ton of media platforms, is if you can go deeper. I'm niche. I was niche for a while. Now I'm pop. If you can go deeper on something and provide the best information where people can trust you, you can keep it entertaining. I like to think I don't write articles, especially with interviews. I don't write articles. I write narrative nonfiction. So anybody who reads those pieces, they always tend to recommend them to their friends and their groups. So I grew rapidly due to the strength of my editorial. So I didn't throw a lot of money. I didn't throw any money actually into marketing. I haven't. It's just the only time I've ever marketed with Afrobeats Intelligence was this last season that ended August with OK Africa. But I bootstrapped and I just relied on editorial. So I have a very strong Twitter account. Some would say it can be controversial when it comes to the music industry. And so that account helped a lot with the push. A lot of the articles I write become social conversations. And then there are people which was very interesting, people who became fans of the platform. And what they do is they promote it themselves. I don't have to do anything. You write your thing, or you publish your piece, or you publish a new episode. They would be the ones who cut it up for you, who would take your screenshots, and they'll just share it all over. And every day I just sit and the numbers continue to grow. Yeah, that's how it is. The strength of the editorial just kept pulling people in.
Yeah, and interesting that Twitter was sort of your key sort of promotional platform as well. It's very different. And